Hello friends, this is Carly and I welcome you to a new episode of Crafting with Class. Today I have a fun 3D cake box from Diamond Press to share with you, and I actually have two versions of this cake. So of course you get the instructions of how to make the cake box, and I actually wanted this because I wanted to see if it would fit a gift card, and so we will find out together. You get the cutting folder if you're using the marquee machine, and then you get some stamps to help you to decorate your cake box. So I will show you those. So you have two different versions for the flap of your cake box, little decorative elements, and then you have your side pieces and then the top, plus some candles, a heart, and some other sentiments that are included in this. For the dies, you get two options for the back flap, so a heart and a star. You get the top and the side pieces of the cake along with that candle element if you want to add it to your cake. Now, as I mentioned before, I wanted this for a gift card, so we're going to find out if this fits in the box, and if not, well, I might probably have to send it back. So here are the pieces that you need. You need two of these to cut out the sides of the box. You need two of these to cut out the top and the bottom. For the top piece, you're going to need to insert this piece if you want to add the candle elements to it. If not, you don't need to use it. And then you need to choose the heart or the star, and these will cut out the two flaps for the back of your box, and of course your candles if you want to use it on your box. So here is my first tip for you if you're going to use the stamps that are included in this box. So first, I would recommend you trace a general outline of the sides of your box, which is this die here, so that you know where you want to position your stamp so that you have enough space for your die to fit perfectly within that paper. So it'll make sense when I show it to you in a little bit later. So you want to do that with the two side pieces that you're going to stamp, and then you want to do it with the top of the box that you're going to stamp. So you only need to do this for those pieces that you're going to stamp onto. So then you just want to go ahead and cut these out. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect because you just want a general outline of where you want to be able to stamp onto this part of your cardstock. So those are the two side panels, and then this is the top of the cake. So now I'm going to go ahead and take out my stamp positioner because this will help me to stamp it well and restamp if I need to. So I'm going to start with the top of the cake. So I'm going to go ahead and use that little sprinkles stamp that comes in the kit, and I'm going to go ahead and place it on top of the cardstock within that space. Now the second tip is I want to go ahead and bring in the die, and I want to put the die on top just to make sure that the die is going to fit within that space, and it doesn't. So I want to move my little piece up just a little bit to give it room so it'll cut out neatly and correctly. All right, so now I want to go ahead and ink up my stamp. So I'm using some dark chocolate ink because I want to make some chocolate sprinkles. And I'm going to stamp it down. I'm going to bring in my little dupe air hockey handle here to assist me, and there it is. All right, so now I'm going to show you when I put my die in, you can see how the die fits within that stamped image. And when I cut it out, it's going to cut out exactly the right area. I'm going to secure it with a piece of tape, some purple tape, and I'll run it through my machine in a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other pieces. Now this is going to be one side of the box. I'm going to stamp it with that little icing piece that goes down the middle. So I want to put it within the parameters that I've kind of given myself. I want to bring in my die, and as you can see, it's a little close to the bottom, so I might run out of room, so I'm going to scooch it up, and now I know, okay, now I'll have enough space, no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and, so as you can see, it fits perfectly within that space. So I know that my stamp is in the right place. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the die that I'm using as a template. And then I'm ready to pick up the stamp and stamp that down onto my paper. So again, I'm going to ink it up. Make sure it's nice and inked up. And I'm going to press it down. I'm going to use my little hockey paddle there to press it down. Now, if you don't get enough ink on those side parts, it's okay. Like those parts right here, it's no problem because they're not even going to be on the cake. So there it is. And when I put my die, you can see that the die fits perfectly within that cardstock. So I know I will have enough room for the whole thing. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the third piece that I just did. So we'll skip that part. Now let me show you what happens if you don't trace the template first or the die first. So here you can see that I just stamped it on a random piece of paper and I didn't have enough room for the die. So I'm going to show you with this one too. I just stamped the stamp on a random piece of paper, and again, when I put the die, there was no room for the whole die. So this is why I don't recommend you just stamp a piece of paper first. I recommend you trace it so you know you're going to have room for the die and the stamped image. So this is what I recommend based upon my own trial and error here. All right, so I have all the pieces cut out and ready to go. So I have the two sides. I have the top, which is the stamp part, and the bottom, which is not. And then you have the two flaps that'll go on the back. And then I use the heart version for this. So now we're going to put it together. So as always, I always recommend you fold your tabs first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of the pieces. And when you die cut these, they will put in the score lines for you, so it's easy to do. And there's no crazy, score lines you have to find. It's very straightforward. So now on to the other side of the box. So there's 4 tabs on each side, and then there's only 1 tab on. Now this is the bottom part. Notice that there's like 2 other marks here at the bottom. Just ignore those. Those are made from the die. There's only 1 at the top. That's the actual score mark. So don't worry about those other marks. They're just made from the die. So there's those 2. I was trying to straighten it, but it doesn't really matter. And then you have on the little heart piece, you have the little score lines in the middle that you're going to need so you can put it through the slot. And that is it for prepping that. So now comes the assembling and the gluing. So first you want to take the cake ends and you want to glue those tabs together facing each other. So you'll see the little striped lines, so you want to go ahead and kiss those together. Now I'm going to use wet glue to assemble just like I do most boxes because that gives me time to wiggle time to adjust if I need it. So I'm going to go ahead and press that down, and this is a quick drying glue, so it works pretty fast. So that's how you're going to assemble those 2 pieces together, and this will make the 2 sides of the cake. Okay, so that's pretty secure. So now it's time to attach the sides, or the top, I should say, the top and the bottom. So you want to go ahead and adhere those top flaps to the tops of the other panels, like so. It doesn't matter if you start with the bottom or if you start with the top. It really doesn't matter. You can start whichever you want. Now, what does matter is the little side pieces. So you want to take the one with the slot and attach that to whatever your top is. So that's the only thing you need to make sure you do. So the top of your cake box is going to go on the little side tab that has the slit, and you want to attach it with the straight edge. So you'll see one edge is like scallopy, wavy, and then one edge is straight. So you want to attach the straight edge to the little tab of the top of the cake box. And now whatever your bottom is, you want to attach the heart or the star part to it. So it doesn't matter again which side it is, you just want to attach it to the tab. So I'm going to add a little adhesive there, making sure I get those ends. And then again, you have a wavy side and a straight side. So you want to attach it with the straight side. So I know that it looks kind of like it might be wrong because the heart's upside down, but remember this is the bottom. So when you turn it over, then the heart will be right side up. Okay. All right, so I'm going to press that in just to make sure that it takes hold. All right, so now I'm ready to attach it to the cake. So again, you can decide whether you want to start with the top of the box or the bottom. It doesn't really matter. You want to add adhesive to one of the top tabs where you have the striped lines. And again, this is why it doesn't matter if this doesn't stamp perfectly, at least this part, because you won't even see it. So I'm going to start with the top of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and line up the edge to that tab. And again, this is why I like using wet glue, because then I can make sure I place it in the right way onto that side of the box. So you can see that I'm really trying to make sure that it's on there just right. Now, once you do like one or two of these, you can go ahead and just put glue on both of those top tabs and just lay your top piece right on top. Because you're going to be, you'll have a little bit more practice after you do the first one. And so this goes super quick and super easy. Okay, so now that I'm happy finally with where that flap is. Now I can go ahead and attach it to the second tab or to the other side of the tab. And then for this, you just, again, simply lay it on top. Make sure that it's lined up with the edge. Just like so, and you have the top of the box done. So there you can see the little sprinkles and then the side of the cake. And then I'm going to turn it over and press that in. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure that those are well adhered. All right, so far so good. And so now we're going to go on to the next part. Again, I'm going to do one at a time, but once you do like one or two of these, you're going to see that you can put glue on both of the pieces and it'll be just fine. And it'll make this process quicker too. But this was my first time assembling a box. So I am taking my time. So you want to make sure all the folds, all the edges are lined up so that your cake box is neat. But really, this is a very simple box to put together. Now, in the instructions, it shows you if you put together 10 of these little cake boxes, you can actually make a full cake, which would be super fun for like a birthday or a little wedding, like favors. I think this is a pretty versatile box. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and secure those really well with my bone folder to press those down. And that is it, friends. The cake box is pretty much done. So I'm just like looking at them like, oh, this is pretty neat. All right, so then all you need, now I'm going to go ahead and breathe. Take a moment because this is the do or die. Does a gift card fit in this box? So crossing my fingers because I really, really want it to work. So I'm going to put it in and look, friends, it fits. And cue the hallelujah chorus because yes, finally I have a cake box where I can put a gift card so I can gift it to my friends, and you have plenty of room to add a few other treats, a few sweet treats in there. So then you just squeeze together those heart sides and that will go through the slot just like that, and then you open the heart back up and that secures it closed. So yay, I'm so happy that a gift card fits, so that means this is a keeper for me. Alright, so now on to decorating. So I'm taking this pearl pin from Viva Decor. I don't think they make this anymore. This is like super old. But you can also use the Nouveau drops. They would work the same way, or glossy accents. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to all those little sprinkles and putting this on there so that it looks realistic, like actual chocolate sprinkles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of them at the top, and it actually didn't take very long at all to do, and it's going to give it a very realistic, yummy look. See? And you can make these any colors you want, but I thought I would go with just chocolate for this one for now. So here it is. I've finished putting it on top. So now I'm going to do that with the icing part in the middle. So you can color it in with your markers or whatever coloring medium you want. But I thought by using this, it would look more like real icing in there. And so really quickly, I'm just going and putting it in between the lines that were made by the stamp and filling it in. And doesn't that look like chocolate icing or chocolate ganache in the middle? Yum. And if chocolate isn't your thing, then you can make your cake any kind of cake that you want. Or you can even turn it into a pie, like an apple pie or a pumpkin pie for not Christmas, for the fall. Cute, cute. So I'm going to let that dry. Right, so now I'm taking this rolled up rose, and again, this is a super old die, but there's lots out there from different companies. So I've rolled it up, and I'm going to go ahead and secure the bottom so that it stays rolled up. So I'm going to put a good amount of glue. Now this glue will dry clear once it's dry, so even though you can see the white glue, you won't see it once it's dry. So I wanted to add this chocolate rose to again make it look a little realistic, like they do in those roses on cakes, on real cakes. So I'm going to go ahead and secure it to the top, and I think it looks awesome. You can even wrap the little rose around the candle that you put on there. It would look really cute too. So many different ways to decorate. I love it. I love it. So cute. And the gift card fits. So that's the die that I used. Now let's do a second version and step it up. So this time I'm not using the stamps. I'm going to use pattern paper. So again, you need to cut out 2 of the sides. Now this time I cut out just the middle panel that's going to go in the middle like this out of this pattern paper. So I want to make one of those cakes that are like rainbow cakes inside. I think they're so cute. I am going to use the candle for this one, so I die cut the little tab for the top one from that inner piece, and then I also did that a second piece that has confetti, so that's confetti paper. Here are my 2 candles, and for this one I am using the star, and then I've die cut the decorative element to go on the top. That's also included in the die set. So let's go ahead and assemble this. So first I'm going to add just a little bit of detail to the candle for that little dripping wax. Now this is going to be kind of covered up because I'm going to put some stickles on it, so it doesn't have to be any kind of perfect. So this is how they'll layer together, so I want to make sure that I'm doing it to the right side. So I'm just going around with my marker and just making those little details a little more pronounced. I'm going to take my Copic markers and color in the flame. So when I color whatever it is with Copics, I always start with the darker first. That's just kind of how I was taught to do it a million years ago, and then work my way to the lightest color. These are some pretty heavy duty flames here. So I'm going to go ahead, and now you're going to put the glue on the candle part, but not the little tab at the bottom, because that's going to need to fold out, so you don't want to put any glue on that. So make sure that you leave that little section unglued, just like I'm showing you. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach the pattern paper little confetti frosting, or the sprinkles part I should say, to the top. So I'm going to cut off the tab because I won't need it. And now I can go ahead and adhere this to the base. I want to make sure that that little opening where I'm going to put the candles also lines up, and super easy. So really both versions are easy to make, whether you want to use your pattern papers, whether you want to stamp in color. It's really simple, it's up to you. So here I'm going to go ahead and I die cut just the middle part, and so I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the base piece. So now I'm going to go ahead and fold all my tabs, and you can do all your folding before you glue it on, however you want to do it. So this is my bottom piece, and then the two sides. And again, super simple folding, nothing complicated at all about this cake box. Okay, so remember, you're going to kiss those two ends together. So you want to put glue on the outside so that those two flaps come together in the middle. Your seam is going to be on the inside of your box. And if you want to, you can always either trim it down or just glue it to the inside of the box to secure it flat. Remember, you're going to glue the straight edge to the tab, and the wavy part will be at the bottom. And then for the bottom one, you want to make sure that you use whatever the star or the heart part, so the top gets the slit and the bottom gets the shape. So I'm attaching the little pattern paper to the star, and I'm folding it to give it some memory so it knows where to go. And now I'm going to attach it to that bottom flap. So remember, straight edge onto the top. And then when you flip it over, well, with this one, it won't really matter. The star will be in the same position because it's symmetrical. Okay, so now you can start putting it together. So you can go ahead and add glue. But first, I'm going to go ahead and add that cake candle. So you're going to feed it through that hole, and then just separate the two tabs, and that's it. And it stands upright perfectly. Super cool. I love that. All right, so all you need to do is glue the sides to the top of the box, like I showed you before. So again, once you get the hang of this, you can totally do both at the same time. Okay, so now the other tab. Now, if you have cardstock that's a little heavy duty, then you don't even need to cut out the base piece. Just cut your cardstock out of your pattern paper, but this happened to be kind of lightweight cardstock, or pattern paper, I should say. So I wanted my box to have a little bit more stability. But if you have more 80-pound cardstock, something a little more heavy, then you wouldn't need to die cut the base piece. All right, so I'm securing that final tab. And this cake box is done too. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish all those edges and tabs down to make sure that there is good adhesion there. There's a little box there, and I'm going to go ahead and stick the gift card. Hopefully it'll fit and it wasn't just good luck the first time. So yes, it fits. So I'm so happy because I love giving gift cards to my friends, and I love that I can present it in a little cake box along with a couple of goodies along with a handmade card. So this makes me super happy. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the details. So I'm taking my Nuvo drops, as you can see here. I'm making this for the middle part of the icing. So even if you want to use the stamp, you can still get that same look just by doing it freehand. And of course, the beauty is that it doesn't have to be perfect because it's just icing in the middle. So there it is. So I think it looks super cute. So of course, let that dry. Now I went ahead and punched out a little border, a little scallop border. I'm going to put some 3D dots on the back of these to give them lift. And so I'm going to give it the look of that scalloped icing that goes on the cake. So that's my idea why I wanted to do this. So I'm looking to see how many little squares I need to add on there. And I think I'm good with that. So I'm just going to peel back the liners and then attach it to the cake box. And then I will just trim off any of that extra. And I think it gives it a super cute look. And it's super easy. Again, the decorating is unlimited. You can do so many things. Now I'm going to put this little tiny strip of white cardstock, and the 11-inch side of a piece was the perfect size to go all the way along the bottom. So I thought I'd give my little cake just a little bit of a crust. So again, it's just a little detail, and you can go as elaborate and or as simple as you want. And I think that's the fun of these kinds of things, that it's whatever your imagination, your time, has, room for. I love this. So fun. And you can make a bunch of these if you keep them, really simple, or you can do them super elegant. So I just wanted to add this little detail. I thought it would be cute. And this will be such a fun way to present a gift card. And if you have like little paper doilies that you can put, of course, a bigger one than this, I think it would even be such a cuter detail too. So here they are, friends. These are the 2 cake boxes I made today for you. So this is a winner for me because of the fact that it's easy to put this together, and it fits a gift card. Yes, friends, it fits a gift card. You don't even know how excited I am about that. So I can't wait to put a whole bunch of these together and have them ready to give out to my friends and family. So I will leave you with a few close-up pictures of the chocolate ganache cake here that I made for you, and then the rainbow cake here that I thought came out super cute too. I can't wait to make all kinds of cakes and pies, and yes, maybe pizza. You think pizza, like a big old pizza? Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you soon in the next video. Until next time, bye.